We can. Okay. Hey, everybody.
Take it away on this one.
It's Thursday night, guys, and it's January 7th. Today it's an exciting topic. You have Tim here, my co-host, and
Hey.
of course me, Walter, the fake know-it-all guy. So, welcome to another episode of What Men Think But Will Never Say. And today's exciting for me because we actually get to touch up and talk about entrepreneurships and the mindset and the struggles that real entrepreneurs go through. Right, Tim?
That's right. Yeah. It's entrepreneurship is like really hot topic right now. And we love entrepreneurship. So we love that it's a hot topic. And I see like on TikTok and like on YouTube that we have more millennials getting into entrepreneurship than ever before. And we're here to help. We've lived it. We've lived it, and we've done a lot of self-help, and we've done a lot of coaching.
I love entrepreneurship, but I hate fake entrepreneurs, right? Because they don't really know the struggles and the mindset and the work ethics that actually gets into
Right.
it. So
What is a fake entrepreneur? Let's tell
fake,
them.
the fake entrepreneurs, I usually they don't have a set schedule. They work 5 minutes a day, maybe even do a post saying I'm an entrepreneur or I made one
Yeah.
sale, and now they think they're an entrepreneur, right? And that to me that bugs me, right? I mean, it's always going to be one of those things where show me. John Maxwell actually said this, like real entrepreneurs, you want to say, show me your calendar and I'll tell you if you're an entrepreneur or not.
Ha, I love it.
Right.
Dude, I love that.
So when I heard that flow, and then I actually saw this on Google today, believe it or not, the definition of entrepreneur. Do you know what the real definition of entrepreneur is?
I mean, I would have thought as a self-starter.
So the definition of entrepreneur, as Google said, it is an individual person that use their set of skills to take advantage of every opportunity.
Oh, wow. What? Is
I'm
that
like,
really right?
yes. And I'm like,
Dang, I
wow.
love it.
So, I mean, a lot of people out there that are blessed with opportunities and they don't take advantage of it, they're not
Yeah,
entrepreneurs. All right. So
got it.
when I read that, I'm like, oh, it clicked with me so much. I'm like, okay. So if anybody out there that feels entitled and they're not taking advantage of the opportunities that they're given, don't call yourself an entrepreneur.
No.
Really.
Yeah.
But that's what I found out. That's my 2 cents. So let me ask you this, Tim. I mean, what do you think it takes to be a real entrepreneur?
Well, because it takes so much to make it, to be an entrepreneur, you really gotta hustle. Like you gotta like you're working for yourself, but and you say you can set your own schedule, but in the beginning, you're working more than anyone else. You're working more than your friends and family. And it's like you have to be obsessed about it. And if you're not willing to do that, but so it depends on who you are too. I mean, if you're trying to be an entrepreneur so you can be super successful and make it, then that's what it takes. If you're going to be an entrepreneur so you can actually work part-time and not really earn a lot of money and you kind of go into it knowing that, then that's totally fine. But there is no such thing as being really, really successful, making a lot of money. Let's define success really quick. Like, yeah, being successful, and you can define it in a lot of ways, but what I mean is like actually building something, making a difference, changing industries, making money. If you really plan on doing that, then you gotta. It's a solo mission for a long time.
No, I completely agree. The one thing that a lot of people don't get when they become a business owner or an entrepreneur, not that many people, and you agree me, I mean, disagree to disagree, but not that many people really understand the roller coasters of commissions or how you get paid. It's not like you're getting paid weekly or bi-weekly
Oh,
like
that's
people that
true.
actually get it. You really gotta have the I would say the balls or the courage to know that your paycheck is not going to come until you put in the effort,
That's
right?
true.
And a lot of
Yeah.
people don't understand that. And so To me, it's one of those things where I've been doing it for quite some time, and I know the emotional roller coasters. Everybody that has been an entrepreneur knows the emotional roller coasters. And so for people that I think that knows that emotion, that's why we kind of are stained by the idea that people are calling themselves entrepreneurs and kind of, blowing up their IG page and saying this is my life and this is how entrepreneurs really should live. I think they're all fake, right? But
Mhm.
that's just me. I mean, I really believe you have to go all in, right? And Will Smith said it best is that, courage is on the other side of fear. And a lot of people that get to be an entrepreneur, they are fearful because they have no idea when the next paycheck is coming, right?
Right.
And if they don't know when the next paycheck is coming, you got to have enough courage to keep going, to actually be all in, to do what's necessary to make yourself a successful entrepreneur,
Yeah.
right? And
And you're talking a little bit about commission. It's like if you got a lot in the pipeline and if your business has to do with commission, you got to work on that. It's a cycle. You can't be getting paid a whole bunch of money and then you weren't working it's a pyramid. You got to trickle down all the sales for every 15 sales that you do, maybe like 5 return your calls, and then of those maybe 2 will actually take the next step beyond that, and then maybe you'll close one. And it's like if you're really stuck on the success of the moment of like, oh man, I have a closing coming in soon, I'm good. No man, you gotta work on it. You don't want to have ups and downs throughout the year. You want consistent income, and it takes work to have
right.
consistent income. It takes a lot of work.
So let me ask you. I mean, what did you think? What did you think of an entrepreneur before you actually became an entrepreneur?
You know, I I remember when I was a kid and I would drive by downtown LA because I thought I was such a smart ass, is that I would look at the skyscrapers and I'd be like, oh, for sure, guaranteed by the time I'm 25 years old, I'm going to own one of those skyscrapers for sure. It's just like obvious. It's like if like I mean, it's like I hope I own a lot more than that, but I mean, at least I should own that a little bit. And then the reality sets in as I'm getting into it, and like entrepreneurship, before getting into it, I was so scared, honestly. It's such a scary thing because doing it by myself personally, I would never get anywhere by myself. Seriously. The only way that I've ever, for me, ever able to accomplish anything was
Right.
by getting help from other people. So strictly being a solo entrepreneur, I was never cut out for it. I always had to ask for help, and I always had to get coaches, business coaches, and have mentors. Um, I think for the rest of my life, even though I've come up with like some success in what I'm doing, I will never stop having mentors because
Yeah.
as soon as
agree.
I let them go, I'm lost
Right.
completely.
What is the one thing that you were weak in, but then after you actually started being an entrepreneur, you actually became really good at? And the reason why I asked that is because coming from a job mindset. Remember, I was a project manager at the refineries at a construction company. I thought the skills of being a manager, it's enough to be an entrepreneur. I was dead wrong. Right. That's one of the. If anybody thinks that being a manager of a company is going to make you a successful entrepreneur, you're completely wrong. I found out the hard way because I thought I can take my skill set as a manager and bring it to the business side, but I never knew about marketing. I never knew about sales. I never knew about communication. And one thing that I was really, really horrible at was sales and communication. Right. So when I actually became an entrepreneur, I had a hard time talking to people, believe it or not.
Oh wow.
I
I have a
had,
hard time picturing you like that.
and the funny thing is that you actually brought mentors and coaches. I had this one coach. His name is Steve. We call him, well, we call him Steve Harvey, but he was actually my first sales mentor. And this is what he noticed. I struggle every day talking to people over the phone. So this is what he made me do in a room. And if you ever watch like The Wolf of Wall Street, that's exactly the same atmosphere. I had to stand on my cubicle in front of hundreds of people in suits, and he made me sing "Row, Row, Row Your Boat" out loud.
No
It was like,
way.
yeah. He said, if you can't overcome the fear of embarrassment in front of your peers, you're never gonna make real money.
Oh, I
So
love
for
that.
2 weeks straight, every single time I came in at 7 in the morning, I had to sing "Row, Row, Row Your Boat" out loud.
That
So
is awesome. I
and
love
that's
that.
yeah, that's oh man, but it's I was so scared. First couple of days, I was so scared. I'm like, you're making me sing "Row, Row." I'm like, really? He's like, you do that, you can conquer any kind of sales call that comes your way, which was
Love it.
true.
It's really true. I
Yeah.
have salespeople that sit next to me and they are scared of being salesy on the phone because they're worried about the rest of the company judging them.
Yeah.
And maybe I should have them do that.
That'd be fun. It changed me completely. I mean, the guy, he broke down. He says the way how your mind works, there's a lot of barriers called fear, and you're just gonna have to kind of knock those walls and barriers down. As I was learning from this mentor, and he knocked down a lot of walls. So being an entrepreneur, a lot of people don't know that you're actually always continually learning, whether to be a better leader, a better educator, a better person, a better businessman. You're always continuing to learn, and not that many people know that.
Right.
Right.
Right. Are you I mean, there's got to be what other things have you done? Because you're a good speaker now and you project confidence and you're really good at talking to people now. And you're obviously good at sales. Like what else did you do to get to where you are now?
It's as I took the journey to be an entrepreneur, learning sales and marketing was later on down the road. I mean, and to be an honest, I mean, in all honesty, the first 4 years of being a realtor was hell because I had no sales experience. I didn't know how to get more clients. I didn't know marketing. And I was only taught by somebody that already had their own pipeline of business, and he couldn't show me how to actually get my own business. Sucks. So just like you, I mean, mentors and coaches, the journey that they put me through is, hey, just go out there and talk to people, right? He made me write down 25 things that I'm most scared of, and every single week I'm supposed to knock one of them down.
Oh,
So when I
wow.
had a phobia, and this is funny. Okay, so when I was a kid, my brother used to tease me by taking a metal spoon and then open my mouth, and then they'll just ring that metal spoon around my mouth, right? So
Yeah.
I couldn't eat with a metal spoon for a while. Believe it or not, I couldn't eat with a metal spoon, and every single time I hear a metal spoon somewhere, it makes my teeth sweat.
Ugh.
No joke. I'm like, ah. So what he did was he brought a metal spoon for 1 week, and he told me just to bite it down. He's like, I'm not going to do it for you, but you bite it down. And he made me bite it for a week. He's like, I'm going to knock that barrier down. So I'm thankful to this day that for those 25 weeks, he knocked down everything that I had fear of. And I just broke all those barriers. And by doing that, every single week, I've learned something. Every single week, I wasn't afraid to do anything. And it became easier and easier. So now when I do take on a task, it's, I don't have that fear like I used to anymore. Believe it or not, I
Right.
mean, I think I failed when we did presentations back in high schools and college. I couldn't do presentations, right? I was one of those guys, and my dad said, I suck so bad. My dad says, hey, if you want to get somebody to laugh, pretend to trip and fall on the way to the front of the class, right? That's how my dad helped me out. But
Awesome.
that's how bad I
Good
was,
advice.
right? And so, yeah. And I mean, what kind of helped you out, Tim? I mean, what are the barriers that that you broke down to be the person that you are today?
A lot of failing. A lot of like just doing it because like a lot of times when you're doing sales, it's so scary and you really quickly learn how resilient you are and how fast you learn. If you care enough about it, and you probably do care, you kind of realize you start to learn what matters and what doesn't matter. The pain that you go through to do a sale, you don't feel that pain every time. And after a few dozen times of doing it, you become a lot better at it. And also you handle rejection a lot better too. What they say about failing over and over, you can never succeed without failing. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You have to fail in order to succeed. And like there's a lot of younger people that I know that they're trying to get it right and perfect the first time. And then when it doesn't happen according to plan, they get very discouraged. And I say it's part of the process. You have to have also though, when you're in it, a sense of healthy paranoia. And what I mean by healthy paranoia is that you're always looking out to see what could go wrong so you could preemptively fix it before it happens. Because then otherwise, you kind of become complacent, and then problems come and bite you in the butt later on.
Right.
And you get lazy and you get content with the environment, but you can't. You got to keep hustling and you got to keep working on it, and you got to keep trying different things so that you don't end up failing, because failure is like you're like one bad sales month away from like losing everything. And you might say to yourself, yeah, I might have some reserves, or yeah, I could hang in there for like a couple months. I'm talking more like emotional survival. If you have a bad sales month, you could just easily let that turn into a downward spiral and just, oh, you know what? I'm not going to go in on Monday. I'm not going to go in on Tuesday. And you kind of start slipping a little. And then on Wednesday, you do part-time. And then on Thursday, you do part-time. And it before you know it, you're so unproductive, you don't even realize it. You're going to start feeling like, oh man, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I got all these things going on. But what part of your day is actually giving you what we call throughput? What part of your day is actually putting money in your pocket or building a future? That's easily accountable. Like you can actually calculate how much money you brought in that day. And those are the actions that count.
I think what everybody wants to know, I want to know this, and I'll probably share my story, is that when is your darkest time when you were an entrepreneur? And what is like the one time up until now? What is the one highlight so far? Like for me, my darkest time, I would say my second year as an entrepreneur, as a realtor, when I quit my job, I went all in. Believe it or not, I didn't have a penny to my name. I was still showing houses. I was 3 months behind on rent. And I was a single father of 4, right? And and every single day I felt like a failure. I felt like a failure. I'm like, I can't put food on the table. I'm like, but I'm not going back to a job. I can't go back to a job. So during that was one of my darkest times. And a lot of people, when they think entrepreneurs, they don't think of dark times. I'm like, I've had plenty of dark times in the beginning, right? And I'm pretty sure there might be more dark times in the future, because you really never know, but you have to be prepared, right? Just like you said. That's one of my darkest times. So did you even have, I'm pretty sure you do. Did you have a dark time as, when you started this journey?
Man, I mean, there was a time where I was cold calling for business. It was pretty brutal, man. It was really brutal. I'll always remember this time where I cold called this one particular agent, and she like runs Pasadena. And I called her, and I pre-typed out a script to read. And I was so scared and I was trembling, and I was like talking like this, and I was like reading off a piece of paper. And she literally interrupts me in the middle of my spiel because I've cold called her.
Right.
And she goes, I literally can hear you reading off a piece of paper right now. and I know, and she's like, what? And then she says a few other things to criticize me. And then I'm just like trying to come up with a rebuttal. And I just want to hang up and be over with this call already. And I kind of make up some BS like, oh, I'm not so good at sales, but I'm really good at closing loans. And you're going to want a kind of guy that can get the job done. And she's like, not really. And she kind of rebuttals me back. And she's like, there's no way I'd ever send you my business. You're not the kind of guy I'd send business to. And then the phone call was over. I never talked to her again. She never sent me any business. But after that, I realized if that's the worst that could happen, I could probably do a few more of those calls. It's not a problem. You know, most of the time, no one has like, no realtor call or any cold call has ever come close to that now. Like they're just, if they want to get me off the phone, they'll just kill me with kindness. Yeah, 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 okay, thank you. I'll call you. Okay, bye. You know, um, but it's that was tough. That was a kind of time when I was having like kind of like mini panic attacks. I don't really know what they were. I just have a lot of like my heart would beat really fast.
Yeah.
And I would just start sweating. And then I would have to kind of like chill out and step away from, because it's like I'm just panicking. And that happened like my first year of doing mortgages quite a bit, because I'd have files that would turn into fires because I don't really know what I was doing. And if I don't close these files, I'm not eating, you know?
Right.
Like when I started working for Benson, like he didn't pay me anything, nothing. Like I was his only employee that made nothing. And like he's just like, I'll teach you, but I can't really afford to pay you. So you wanna get in? I'm not gonna pay you. And I said, fuck it, I'll do it.
Wow. That's crazy. So what is your one highlight throughout your whole career so far? I mean, what would be like the one thing or the two things that you kind of remember that will always stay with you as far as, the highlight of your career?
The highlight of my career, highlight of my career, probably a few things. One, just getting the business coach that I had. Two, being able to buy this house that I'm in. And probably three, having my own team. Those were breakthroughs for me. Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks, man. Like 5 years ago, I would not have been mature enough to lead a team. And I've had to bite my tongue and keep my cool for so long, because employees can be stupid. And you have to really remember that you too were stupid. I was freaking stupid 5 years ago, and you have to stay patient. It is so easy to lose it's so easy to lose perspective. And
Right.
it's so easy to be selfish and have tunnel vision. And you're like, why can't you just do this? Obviously, you should have done it this way. Or obviously, you should have said it that way. Or I told you that we've gone through this 4 times. It's the 5th time, and you're still not doing this right. And this is almost an identical situation as the last 4 times. You just have to remember that I too, in their same shoes, would make all the same mistakes. And you just got to stay cool and just teach them. Our coach right now says you got to teach people 7 times. If you haven't repeated yourself 7 times, it's your fault for not saying it enough. So don't blame them. You have to repeat it. And he's right. He's right. I think a lot of times employee and employer relationships involve a lot of you should have known better, and then you start arguments like that. But people don't. People are just trying their best. They're doing their best. What about you, man? What was your career highlights as an entrepreneur?
One of them is not in the real estate business. One of them is when I was actually selling tax services. And the reason
Nice.
why I call it a highlight is because I actually spoke to another tax attorney, and I'm selling my tax services to her. She's actually done corporate taxes for like Kaiser and stuff like that. And so within 7 minutes, I managed to make her think that I was an attorney, and she paid me a $20,000 retainer in 7 minutes on that call.
Woo!
Right. That was one of my highlights. I'm like, I got that 20,000 just like that. That was when I knew that I had what it took to really communicate and sell. I'm like,
Love it.
that was when the light flipped, the switch turned on in my mind. I'm like, wow, I'm
Yeah.
actually really good enough. That's why I consider that my first highlight. And then in real
Yeah.
estate, I mean, there's multiple. I mean, yeah, I'd say there's multiple highlights. I mean, there's times where I sold. There was okay. I had, and I still remember them. I don't know if you remember them. I think you did their loan, Clint and
Yeah.
Kristen, right? So
I remember.
they brought their realtor, and their realtor is actually their aunt, right,
Ooh, okay.
into an open house, and then they started asking me questions during that open house. As
Mm-hmm.
I was explaining the process and how I would actually help them out, their aunt was right there saying, "Hey, I'm the realtor. I'm their aunt. They don't need help." And as we talked for another 15 minutes during that open house, I managed to convince her aunt to tell her clients, he's going to be better to actually help you buy a house. You should just go with him. I don't
Dang.
think I can.
What?
And I was shocked to hear that. I was like, what? I wasn't even trying to get their business.
Yeah.
And I was just explaining the process, how our
Love
team can
it.
help them. So that was one of my, great highlights and stuff like that.
Love that.
But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, have you done anything to, you can say, give back as, on your road right now?
Yeah, I've been a part of a few nonprofits. And there was a time when I was part of three nonprofits.
Wow.
Um, I've been a part of five total, and it's one was the USC Shoah Foundation. It's a nonprofit that Steven Spielberg founded. Teaches tolerance. Um, Gets pretty deep. I love that's an amazing foundation.
Sorry for that little commercial break, but now we're getting back to Tim and his nonprofit organizations.
Yeah, there's like things I did to give back. I was part of a USC Shoah Foundation. That's that is founded by Steven Spielberg when he was recording and when he was filming Schindler's List. And yeah, everybody here, you've seen Schindler's List, right,
Yeah,
Walter?
yeah, yeah. Great
Dude,
movie.
it's such an amazing movie. Basically, he recorded the testimonials, audio and video testimony. It's the world's largest audio video testimony of genocide survivors.
Yeah.
Basically, they sit down genocide survivors and they ask them what life was like before, during, and after genocide. And through their story, hopefully, we can teach others of tolerance. And I joined another nonprofit called the FH Foundation. They are familial hypercholesterolemia foundation, about a very little known disease that causes very high cholesterol levels and eventually heart attacks. And most recently, I was the board member of California Mortgage Professionals, which is also known as CAMP. I was the board member and director for the Arcadia Historical Society. And currently now I'm the director and the president of the Arcadia Police Foundation.
Wow.
And they basically, I stopped doing like really big global and national initiatives because it was just so time consuming. But also I wanted to join local nonprofits, smaller nonprofits, because I feel like I have a lot to thank I have a lot of gratitude towards Arcadia, because it's where I was raised and it's maybe who I am today. Also, my dad was a cop before, and I really believe in a lot in history, kind of like what we talked about in the last podcast about honoring your heroes. And so that's why I'm, like to give back to those. I don't get paid on the aforementioned three nonprofits at all. Not even reimbursed or I mean, maybe sometimes reimbursed, but yeah, it's not nothing. You don't make money doing it, is my point. But yeah, what about yourself, Walter? You give back to the community?
I used to. I haven't recently. I haven't really found a worthy cause, or you can say it's my fault. I haven't really been searching for a worthy cause. But before, I used to be the co-founder of UCC, which is the United Cambodian Orphanage Organization.
Oh,
So it was between me and my brother, and we had almost 25 kids at one point that we had in the orphanage in Cambodia. We had teachers, we had cooks, and believe it or not, I mean, to actually have all that was not expensive at all. So we actually kept those kids in school at our place where we kind of bought, and they were learning from our facility for about 2 years. Um,
What?
the place, I wasn't there full time. My brother took over, and certain things kind of fell apart because of the economy over there and
Ooh.
the government over there, and it just got torn to shreds.
Oh man.
But during that time, so I mean, it kind of made me lose, you can say, the motivation and ambition to do anything, because no matter what we did, we raised money over here. We did car washes, we did events at restaurants, and all the money that we raised were to make sure that we can get more kids or maybe even expand. But after, the government stopped us, I just lost all motivation to kind of continue pursuing that route. And even my brother just kind of stopped too, because what's the use if they're going to kind of destroy what we're going to build anyways? So that was then. Now, I might look into it. I might look into certain nonprofits, but I think what I'm going to do is that a lot of schools, some of them are missing backpacks, teacher are missing supplies, and so I've been actually going over this with me and my girl to maybe surprise a couple of schools, donate backpacks, color pencils, markers, and stuff like that. And we just haven't really got around to which school actually kind of needs our help. So that's what my plan is. But first and foremost is to take care of what I have to take care of in the business side first, because as long as you can make the business side successful, you can help as many people as you want.
Yeah.
Right. So in order to, and this, and everybody says it, and you have to really pay attention. In order to help, you must help yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. That's true.
So
That's really true.
That's where I'm coming from. That's why, I've enjoyed the journey of being an entrepreneur. I really, really enjoyed it, and it opened up so many doors and so many possibilities of what you can do versus when I used to have a job. There wasn't really that many opportunities, and I wasn't thinking big. Right. You weren't. And so, I'm blessed to have gone through that journey. And for anybody that's actually thinking about going through that journey, just brace yourself for all the horribles, things that's going to come your way, but it's just going to make you stronger. It's going to make you a better person. And it's going to make you grateful for, when you do achieve the things that you actually do want in life, because it's going to just mean that much more. Right. So that's my 2 cents on entrepreneurships. And
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, courage. You gotta make sure to any fears that you have, make sure you have the courage to knock down those walls and go from there.
It seems simple,
It's really
entrepreneurship.
not.
It
Yeah.
sounds so simple.
It's really, really, well, actually it's more mindset. If you think it's simple, it should be simple.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Well, no, what I mean is it sounds like not a lot of work. It sounds very
Oh
easy.
yeah. It's a lot of work. It's a wow.
Yeah. It's you gotta hang in there with the mindset though. It's into all entrepreneurship, it's all mindset. It's all grit and it's all tenacity.
Yeah.
And if you could do that, you're halfway there. Seriously.
Hey, did we tell everybody that Warren's out this week? We didn't even tell everybody that Warren's out this week. He actually get tested positive for COVID. It's not my fault, guys. I didn't meet him last week at any point, but and it's funny because I'm still positive myself. But yeah,
great.
Warren would love to be here, but he's not here because he's just he's resting, and hopefully he's recovering really fast. And
Mark was sick last week too. I don't know if Mark is still sick, but
Mark, no, he's not sick, but his wife is, and hopefully she recovers really fast. But she's, I think from what I hear so far, from what Mark tells us, she's doing just fine.
Got it.
So any future plans as far as being an entrepreneur? I mean, how big are you going to go? I know we mentioned the coffee shop last time, but is there any other plans that you have on the horizon that you're actually going to tackle and take on?
Lately, I've just been putting like all my money into investments like self-storage units. And like when I put money into self-storage units, it just blows away any assets I can even consider, like even from Airbnb homes, buying investment properties, renting it out for a long term. Self-storage units blow the number in terms of numbers, it just blows everything away by far. And I think I put in enough money in the self-storage. I just kept putting more and more and more in. So now I'm kind of thinking about taking a step back, saving up some money for maybe another opportunity, maybe a year from now or so. I mean, what I would really love to do, and we talked about this last week, is one day open up a coffee shop. I don't think I could do that this year. That's what I kind of decided over that. Remember that New Year's weekend? I was saying,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this weekend to decide, and I took the weekend to decide, and there's just no way I could do it. There's just like not enough time in the week to do it. But what probably need to do is need to get out there more anyway and meet more coffee people. I met one lady recently. She has her own coffee store. She sells coffee beans online, and she's like one of the most enthusiastic people I've ever met about coffee. Wow. And she's amazing. And so I'm gonna start talking now that that world is like kind of impossible for me a little bit. I'm gonna be keeping my eye out on people now, people that would want to be part of the coffee shop. Like there's another person I know who would make a great manager of the coffee shop. I don't even think she remembers me. I totally remember everything about her. I haven't talked to her in 2 years because of the pandemic. And I saw her recently. We said hi. I tried to talk to her. I think she talked to me like she didn't know who I was, because she meets hundreds of people a week. So, but I'm going to try to rekindle that relationship in the next year. See if I can get to know her better too, because I don't know anything about her. So I'm going to get to know her better too, to see if she's even a good candidate as well. What about you, man? What have you got on the horizon? I'm curious. You're always up to something.
It's fun when you're an entrepreneur. It's fun because you not only think of different business and different ideas to actually make money, but the thought of making money can actually help other people or create jobs. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to do a coffee shop. I think my girl wants to do a restaurant. So we're actually exploring a restaurant in Vegas. So there's a bunch of things. So once you kind of jump ship to being a full-time entrepreneur, you have a completely different mindset, And you got to have that work schedule. Like you're actually going to work from like 9 to 5. And if you're taking advantage of, hey, I'm going to sleep in today, or I'm going to sleep in and Netflix for the rest of the day, you're not really embracing the true spirit of entrepreneurship. You're just trying to find an excuse to take a vacation, right? So that's what we're going to do. And hopefully, when I think you're coming with me to Vegas, but we're actually doing a tasting with, a few people next week. So if you actually want to be part of the tasting on Tuesday, but you're going to be too busy. You're so busy nowadays that, it's hard to even give you a call and say, hey, let's hang out during the day. Right.
No, I'm down. If it's like enough notice, I'm totally down. Really. But are you really inviting me or not really?
Of course I'm inviting you.
Because I'm down to come, man. I want to try the food.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be Tuesday in the afternoon.
Oh, I can't do afternoons. There's no way I could do afternoons. Darn. I thought it was like dinner or something. How is it you guys have time to do this in the daytime?
We just like you, we pencil it in. Right? Yeah. We make sure that we work around that schedule. I think we had a team meeting this morning, and there's so many things that we're actually going to start doing. Nice. Accountability, a lot more home tours. And, like I said, this is one of those things where a lot of people just really don't understand what it really takes to actually get there. And then once you've learned so much, I mean, we've both been mentored and coached. It's still not enough. Mm-hmm. Still not enough. Right. No. Even if I'm making $1 million a month right now, it's still not enough. You want to know why? Because in sales, they said you're only as good as your last sale. Right. And if you stop selling, guess what? You're not going to make money. In our business, if we stop working, we're going to stop making money because we haven't really found a way to actually get that passive income.
Yeah.
Right.
It's because we have to keep our knives sharp. We can't let our skills get dull. That's what happens with me. If I take like a week or two off,
right,
and I really like don't I stop the rituals and I stop the self-help and I stop the coaching, dude. I'm like, I feel like I'm starting over. It's like if I don't work out, actually like literally working out at the gym,
Yeah.
if I don't work out for like 2 weeks, dude, and I get back into the gym, it's like, how am I gonna work out? It's like I'm so weak, I lose it.
Yeah.
And that's how it is with everything in life. You know what's one of the things I like about you, Walter, is that you actually care about other people like a lot more than the norm. Like you actually care about giving people a career, taking care of people. You're always about taking care of people. And that's something that you have in commonality with Benson. Benson gets a hard on from providing people with opportunity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He actually reminds me of, we both know Ken. Ken Tang.
Oh, yeah. Ken Tang.
Same. Yep. Same.
He gets
I
a hard
mean,
on from helping people, huh?
he loves the fact that he's changing lives.
Oh, wow.
That is awesome. And I mean, just to actually be blessed with the opportunity to actually do that on a daily basis, and
Yeah.
and to keep on striving to keep on doing that. I mean, that kind of leaves a legacy if you were to ever go away soon. I think that's where you become immortal.
Wow. I didn't know that about him. You know, come to think of it, I don't really know Ken that well, but I just know that guy is one hardworking motherfucker, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think even if me and Benson were to actually combine our work schedules and ethic, I don't think we can beat Ken. He
Oh,
he
yeah? Wow.
he works that hard. Basically,
What?
so this
Really?
is what he did. He as and he's well off. I think he's probably well off more than me or Benson, right? I'm pretty
Oh,
sure more
yeah.
than me and Benson. So, but he would call me, and this is how humble he is. Hey, what does EXP do to recruit so many? He's like, give me all their training. I'm gonna go through it right now, and he'll go through every single EXP training. He knows EXP training way better than I do right now. I'm like, he's just that type of guy. And then anybody that is a competitor, he'll go over there and shake hands and say, hey, I want to learn from you, right? Whether they're doing worse or better, he'll go learn. I mean, he's already in the Tony Robbins business mastery. He's already in the John Maxwell's business mastery. And he's always continually learning to get better. He doesn't sleep until 3, 4 in the morning, just like me. Yeah. that guy is a monster when it comes to like really as being a leader.
I wish I could do all that, but I don't remember anything. So I have to do a little at a time. Like if I just study for 6 hours straight, I would remember like 10% of it. Unfortunately, I wish I could retain knowledge like that. He sounds like a smart guy. He's lucky. He works hard for that, but he's got the brains for it too.
Yeah, he's changed his life completely around. I mean, this guy used to party every single day and get drunk almost every single night. Now he's 3 years sober, doesn't touch alcohol at all, not one drop.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow. So I admire him. He's even though he's a friend, he's a childhood friend. He's my role model.
Right.
So
right. That's great, man.
We'll be in position to actually do that one day, sooner than later. I mean, we're already kind of in that position, but not really. But we'll know that one day, I think 5 years from now, when you actually look at your team and tears come out because you actually know that you actually changed their life, right? That's when you actually know you make it. It's not the money. It's when you've actually changed lives. All right. So that's to me, that's worth working every single day and learning every day. Right. So yeah, the 5 million, the 10 million mark, the 20 million, if I ever get there, whenever I get there, it's not going to mean as much to me as if I sit across from people that I've actually helped be successful and know that the smiles on their kids' face, their wife's face, and even their face is going to last for their whole lifetime. And it's because I had a part to play with it.
Dang. All right. You guys are about legacy. I like it. I like it. That's why you have 4 kids. How many kids does Ken have?
Ken has 3, and they're all young. I think they're 6, 5, and 3.
Yeah.
Right. So that's awesome. Then you're soon to be unknown, right? You're actually finally tinkering on the idea. And imagine if you do have a kid, dude, I'll be I'd be so ecstatic for you because what your kid's going to do with all the knowledge that you actually have now and all the knowledge that the uncles that, that you're going to actually be around with, that kid's going to be so smart. You're setting that kid up for success right off the bat.
I appreciate that.
That'd be
No,
awesome.
I mean, I honestly, all your kids are gonna have beautiful hair. I know that for sure.
Oh man.
They're gonna have like the best hair. Does your wife have good hair? Does your girl have good
Yeah.
hair?
Yeah, she has long hair. She cuts it herself from time to time.
She has
But
long, thick
I
hair.
can never tell. I'm one of those guys that's kind of flawed too. I mean, not that many guys want to admit it, but I can't tell when she cuts her hair. Right? I can't. I mean, whether it's long,
Yeah.
short, layered, I don't know all the terminologies for it, but when she does it, I don't notice. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
one of those guys. Right. So it's funny. It's funny. But
All
you
right.
have good hair.
No, not like yours, man. All right. Should we wrap it up here? It's about an hour, I think.
Yeah. I think let's wrap it up. I mean, we'll say our good nights to everybody. But I think today was an awesome segment today.
Yeah, I think so too. You want to do the outro for us?
Outro? What's the outro? Okay, so again, guys, thank you for listening to our stories. If you find it worthwhile to actually listen to us again, hit subscribe, hit the follow button, and really, I mean, any comments that you guys have to make this show better, give us a call, let us know, and leave the comments below. But once again, what a man thinks but never say is taking off and saying good night to you guys. Tim.
All right. Good night, you guys. Thanks
All
for
right.
being here.
Great. And stop record.